What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Projects. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, March 21st. And just to get you guys caught up to speed on what has been happening this winter, we'll start off with the latest El Nino update. We've had a quick, sudden turn of events here, and our El Nino is now on the trajectory to fading into a La Nina this winter. So those hopes of seeing maybe a wahoo or another exotic billfish this summer look to be fading very, very quickly here. Not that we're not going to have an El Nino. We're definitely coming from the 2 plus area. But we're not going to see something like that we saw in 2015. Just it's not stacking up to be that. So, but this is the current forecast on what we got probability-wise. So red being El Nino, and then June, July, August going kind of neutral to slight El Nino chance, 60%, and then all the way up to 85 October, November, December here. So big change in events, but let's look at our rainfall for this year. So this is LA's rainfall, just the easiest, longest dated model there is, but last season we had 27.79, almost 28 inches of rain in a La Nina year, and our average is 13. So far this year, we're still up to 22 inches so far, and we got a little ways to go here. So not as much rainfall as last year, but still looking like some good signs for El Nino, and we are seeing signs of it happening already. Current 10-day forecast here. We've got some beautiful sun out. It was actually nice and warm today, but we do have some cloud cover and rain returning this weekend again. And then still cooler temps, but the sun is out and partly cloudy. It's going to be more that spring morning fog that's going to kind of burn off type scenario. So still spring-like conditions going on at the moment. And then taking a look at our wind model here. This is Wednesday coming into Thursday. We've had some really nice light wind conditions. If you haven't seen it out there, it's been pretty gorgeous. Not a lot of swell either. And Thursday looks really nice. Light wind, winter time conditions here. And then as we start moving into Friday, we'll see this approaching front that's headed our way, and things are all going to change for the weekend when that rain comes here as well. So start seeing a little bit more of that northwest stuff, and then as you see here, we have the front that's going to move through into midday Saturday. And although it's not strong winds at first, it's definitely going to pick up the second half of the day, and then as the storm moves through, that wind's going to really rip and blow it right out of here. So that's the typical storm pattern that we're going to see, but this time it's going to be a pretty aggressive wind for about a day and a half. 20 knots is significant. We've had some of these random thunderstorms pop up, and it might blow hard, but it's a pretty short-lived scenario. But we're going to see some of that wind swell pop up here as well, and things eventually chill out sometime next week, back to lighter conditions, at least for a little while. So we'll see how it all plays out. Let's look at our water color here, where we are looking at the 3-day chlorophyll chart. Lots of green water up north, typical green water along the coast, and looking really clear offshore. And the reason for this is we're actually seeing that California current start ripping up here already. And I'm going to switch back to the 3-day sea surface temperature chart. But this yellow water is 61, orange in here, little 63. You're starting to see this stuff puff up, but the warm water's down here below, cool water's up here, so you can definitely tell that the California current has already started to activate, and we're starting to see some good signs of life already. This winter, we did not see a lot of this 56, 57 degree water along our coastline. It relatively stayed around 60, so I think an early start to the season here, March, April. Not surprising, but I just don't think we're going to see those 80-degree summer temps that we saw in 2015 during that first El Nino. So so far it looks to be a good year, specifically for bluefin. I don't think there's any signs of them not heading this way, at least for a while. But yeah, that's where we're at. Not a ton of fishing info going on right now. Rockfish are still closed until April, so majority of guys are out there trying to scratch the itch or doing some halibut fishing, and it's been relatively decent. Last month I think was a little bit better, but really just a dropper loop or a fluke style rig, live bait preferably, usually gets the job done for most of the stuff. So Channel Islands, we've been seeing some signs of squid up here. No game fish yet. Not too early, but just haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard anything from Santa Barbara Island, but if you're encouraged or thinking about looking for the early season sea bass, this would be a place to look, especially if you can find the squid. Usually those white sea bass are not far from the lunchroom. And same goes for Catalina. There's been a few juvenile fish caught, getting close to that 28-inch mark, and then a handful over that were legal. Just haven't really seen those big fish move in yet, but that could really happen any day. There is squid here. We had a pretty good run at yellows actually a couple weeks ago, but there was a bunch of squid and it got wrapped up by a commercial boat, and then they kind of disappeared for a while. So haven't really seen the yellows come back, but there potentially are definitely some home guards still around. But if you do want to fish for sea bass or anything else out here with squid, you're going to have to make your own. You can find some on the backside, usually in those same spots. You see them every year. And, if you're there in the dark, look for signs of rafting birds. And then obviously try and meter through that, and you might have some luck. So bring some lights, bring some squid jigs, and maybe you get some to float. San Clemente Island. This got looked at over the weekend. No signs of yellows yet. There is, again, always home guards here at the island, but the trick is really getting them to go and finding them. In springtime, they can move very, very quickly. First places I'd be looking at the dunes at the end of the runway. Down here, Pyramid Cove, China Point is always a good hot spot, and occasionally along here on the front. So birds are going to be your best sign for this early season stuff, and I would definitely be casting, like a Salad 6X Junior, mint, blue, white, scrambled egg, one of those solid colors that have been proven to work time after time after time. So yeah, I haven't just seen them yet, but we'll give it a week or two. Maybe after the storm, we'll shake something up a little bit more too. Moving down south, we had a little spur up of yellows down here on the northwest corner at La Jolla, and again, home guard fish. They're here all the time. It's just a matter of finding them, stay on top of them, and see how long they last. But usually it's a time of day thing. Lately it's been in the afternoons after 1 o'clock or just before sunset. So again, birds are your best sign of trying to find this stuff. Driving around with your meter on is like looking at a needle in a haystack. So let the birds do the work for you. That's the best fish finder we got. If you didn't hear about it, there is another hearing to extend MPA for Point Loma. They're citing that kelp growth will grow more if we don't fish there. I'm not really sure I follow on that one, but that is the proposal. Stay tuned to organizations like CCA, CalCCA, and allwaters.org, which is kind of a newer one. But these guys are jumping all over this stuff. And, we were promised after the passing of AB 3030 that they weren't going to do any more closures here because we already had all these MPAs in existence and strict fishing regulations. So I personally don't understand the reason why you need to keep continuously closing areas if we're managing a fishery by the size of the stock or quantity of fish and the length of the ones that we're allowed to keep. So if you're doing that properly, you shouldn't have to worry about closing areas. But obviously, I'm not the one in charge, and neither are you. So you need to make your voice heard and let people know that we're gonna, if you want to continue fishing and having commercial fishing and recreational fishing available for everyone, that we need, places available for us to fish. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Moving further south, we did see a little spring up of fish here at Coronado Islands last week, but I haven't heard anything since. The water has greened up a little bit, but really not scary enough. So somewhere between the Coronados and Rockpile, I think is worth checking. There was a couple sporadic bluefin caught in this area as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some more of those juvenile fish. We're talking the smaller ones, not the jumbo ones, but the 20 to 50 pounders following this water color break the whole way up. And that's typically the signs when California current starts flowing. These fish are following the bait, going up the line, and usually the bait is right along this edge here for a pelagic fish. So usually works pretty good. The guys at Ensenada down there caught some today. Looked like a couple medium grade ones, like an 80 size. So good news there. And then a couple of San Diego boats got out last week and went way south. And by way south, this is the lower 500. They're fishing kind of in this white area down here. So way down there, we're talking 100 miles plus. So private boats not really going to be chasing this stuff. But they were seeing good signs of fish, daytime fishing and nighttime fishing. Nighttime fishing was still on jigs, like we've been doing for the past couple of years, up to 160 pounds. And then the daytime fishing was a little bit more finicky, but sinker rig was working, fly line fishing was working. So, sometimes you got to do that scale down to the 20-pound stuff. So make sure you bring a range of leaders in your tackle bag, and that way you're prepared for everything. So all in all, that's really all we got going on at the moment. But stay tuned. A lot of these boats are still in the shipyards trying to get ready for the year, especially April 1st is the main kickoff date for most of them, with the rock fishing becoming available. But yeah, with these new carb regulations, a lot of people are doing, power upgrades, getting to those tier 3 diesels and things like that. So, and if you didn't hear about all these guys that were been requesting customers to come act as passengers for Coast Guard evacuations on the boat to practice and time it, that's another regulation that has been imposed on them. So far it's been pretty good. Everyone's been passing from what I've heard, and it's gone relatively smoothly. So that's all good news to hear. But that's all we got for this week, guys. We'll see you hopefully next week after the storm passes and have some more late fishing info for you. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingpelagics.com. And make sure you share the stoke.